What are the best decks for the Exed Festival, the Exed Link Festival, and the Extra Zero Festival, guys? We spent a decent amount of time looking over the decks. Like, as the first thing, we'll just go over the loner decks first. I think that the Earth Machine deck is not a terrible idea. You got Ash, you got Imperm, Maxi is banned, and this card will carry you to victory. This card's actually really, really good. And then you also even have like Therion King Regulus. So this actually isn't terrible. It does have some really bad cards like Crab Crane, but this isn't a terrible deck to pick, right? Then there's the Live Twin deck, which also isn't terrible, right? You get 2 of every Live Twin. You get your Live Twin Trouble Sunny. You get some Sprite cards too, but you got to play some bad cards like the Evil Twin Present, Evil Twin Challenge. You only get Ash Blossom and Imperm when you probably want a little bit more, but this also isn't the bad deck, right? It's not the worst. It's actually pretty decent. And then you have Raid Raptors. I would personally say this is the worst of the 3. And the reason why is because we're an Exed Link Festival, and we know that both Exeds and Link monsters are just spammy decks, right? So anybody not playing Nibiru, I don't want to say is a moron, but probably an unsmart thing to do to not play Nibiru, right? Also, one more thing to point out, they only give you 1 Rising Rebellion Falcon, which this deck plays 2 to 3 consistently. So I would say that this deck is the worst, but it's not like don't play it or anything, right? It's still a solid deck with only a couple of bad cards like Iron Call inside of your deck, right? So it's not the worst thing in the world. They could have done worse. So the loner decks, if you guys don't have any of the decks that I'm about to show you, then of course you can play those and they'll be pretty good. But some of the decks that me and Chat came up with, we came up with Unchained. I think Unchained is really, really good. There's not really much in my mind that is hit by Unchained. The deck can't lose to Maxi anymore. It's really good against Nibiru to Primal Being, which again, I want to say is going to be a heavy player in the Exed Link Festival. I think that those cards are going to be beyond good. I think also that this is one of the hardest decks to play. So if you know how to play Unchained, you'll be rewarded. And if you don't know how to play Unchained, you're probably going to be a little bit punished because you'll start to notice that there's some lines that you probably should follow up with that you don't. So really play some caution when you pick Unchained, but this deck's really, really fun. I think it's going to be a top contender, and this is just a little example list that you guys could be using. There's also this deck, which is Vanquish Soul. Vanquish Soul didn't lose anything. It only plays Exeds and Links, right? SP Little Knight is banned and stuff like that. And this deck is another deck that can play under Nibiru, right? It can play through hand traps decently well. It makes cards like Effect Veiler and Imperm look stupid because those are going to be some of the best hand traps. It does have a slight consistency issue with getting Razin, but once you get to Razin, you're like all systems go type. You know what I mean? And it's a really, really solid deck. Now, granted, Shifter is banned. All right? That's unfortunate. That's all I can say. Shifter is banned, so you're not going to be going crazy. But I think the benefits of this deck are far outweighed to the counters, right? You can also Vanquish Soul Snow Devil. Vanquish Soul Snow Devil is going to be a crazy, crazy, crazy good card with cards like Baron being banned and stuff like that. Just being able to wipe the board is going to be so much stronger in my opinion. We got another deck. We have Generators. Now this one, I don't think this one is a terrible deck, right? But I don't think that this is like the hands down best deck. It's another one of those good decks that can dodge Nibiru. And if you have all the cards for it already, then you're good. It's decently cheap till you get the cards like Herald and some of your extra deck cards like the Utopia package like Draco Future. But I think that this is a solid Yu-Gi-Oh deck. And again, these are not definitive builds. These are just something for you guys to look at, a little eye candy as we go through these decks. But I'm not 100% sold on this deck. I just think that it's really cool that you summon a generator, you go World Legacy Monstrosity, you get 2 other generators. You don't really need your extra deck, but when you do, you got cards like Leviathan and Jurmagonder to be able to help keep the tempo of the game. Lastly, for the Exed Link Festival, we have Salamangreat. Chat, I was going to play this all the way through. The only problem is Promethean is banned.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
I thought that this would have been de facto the best deck in Master Duel. but Promethean is banned. So that's like, it's still really, really strong, right? I decided to stay with the line of Pyro Phoenix because I think that destruction is going to be really, really huge. Keep in mind, Appaloosa is banned too. SP is banned. Promethean's banned. So there's not going to be a lot of negation cards in the game. And with that being in mind, I think mass removal is going to be popular. So I decided that this was probably the best deck, one of the best decks, if not the best deck to play. The only thing you lose is Promethean Princess, but in return, you gain the Bussy Coat line. And the Bussy Coat line is you need 2 link models, you make access, you go to transfer, access code 43, can attack twice. 53, my apologies. Kind of GG's. That's what I think about it. So I really like that line for this deck. And I think it's still a decently strong Yu-Gi-Oh deck. That's it for the Exed Festival. The Zero Festival is a little bit harder. Can't play Horse Prince? You know, yeah, but Horse Prince not mandatory. Now, the Extra Zero Festival was incredibly hard. I know some people are like trying to figure out what can you play for the Extra Zero Festival. Out of the Extra Zero Festival, there's 3 decks. I think that this is the best deck. Hands down, I think this is the best deck. The Sarcophagus deck, I think if you don't have access to it, this is a decent build. You got your Ash, no Imperms, and overall, the main thing about this deck is that you get this, you get Gandora, you get your Silent Swordsman cards, right? Your Silent Swordsman and your Silent Magician cards. So I think that it's solid. There's some things that I would like to have that would be better for the deck, but overall, you really get what you get when it gets to a lower deck. This one's okay. The Therion deck is actual. I don't even know what to say about this one. I might try it because I like Therions, right? But getting 2 Regulus negates, that's pretty much the best you can get with this strategy, right? So I'm not sure. And then only, I'm not sure. This is wacky, right? And lastly is Gishki. To be honest with you guys, I think that the best way to play this event is just play one of these loners. Unless you have like a whole bunch of easy to get cards or you already have a non-extra deck type deck, just play one of these loner decks. It's no purpose in actually doing this again. So I did make a couple of decks that, okay, I guess. We made a Gold Shining Sarcophagus deck, which instead it runs the Imperm, Ash, you get the infinite impermanences, the Ash and the Veilers, I'm sorry. And then you get more of a full good cards, no bad cards type thing. But I also think cards like Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster, Change of Heart, I think that these cards are going to be really good. So if you have them, consider playing them because we're going to be going back to like ancient Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you don't get access to some of these really cool and ridiculous cards. So I'm thinking that these cards would be really huge. And then another deck that I built, people are going to hate me for this, but
what?
It's 2 ultra rares in this deck and it's just Called by the Grave. So I wanted to get you guys something that you could build easily, something that wouldn't cost you too much, something that could be pretty simple to play, right? And this is what came to mind. So I'm not saying that you should hate me. If you do, I really can't blame you because we're on True Draco. But this deck can summon pretty powerful monsters and use spell and trap cards to get rid of your opponent's cards. So it's not a bad deck to pick. But that's what I have for the decks that I think you guys should be using for the Extra Zero Festival, as well as the Link Exceed Festival. Of course, if you guys have some other strategies, go ahead and let us know down below in the comment section. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Of course, Big Dog, there's more videos you should check out on this channel. Until then, hug your mama, hug your family, drink some water, and I'll catch you on the next one.